We want to bring your attention to a mental health issue that impacts millions of Americans each year, post-traumatic stress disorder, commonly known as PTSD. According to the VA, about 6% of the U.S. population will have PTSD at some point in their lives. About 12 million adults in the U.S. experience PTSD during a given year. It can make life very tough, but there is help out there for those battling with PTSD. This includes a nonprofit organization called the Code 9 Project. Joining us now over Zoom to discuss is the president and co-founder of the Code 9 Project, Brandielee Baker. She's also a certified social and emotional intelligence coach, as well as a certified life coach. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good morning, Leslie. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
It's a pleasure to be.
We touched on this briefly, but post-traumatic stress disorder, the mental health condition that's triggered by a terrifying event, either experiencing it or witnessing it, and symptoms may include flashbacks, nightmares, severe anxiety, as well as uncontrollable thoughts about that event. So what does your organization do, and who exactly do you target?
Our organization is comprised of active duty and former first responders, military and law enforcement. And so we serve that population. Our communities, rely very heavily on the 911 emergency response system. And if we're not equipping those individuals with the proper mental health resources regularly and trainings, then just imagine the impact on the wear and tear of their nervous system. And yet we continue to expect them to rise to our emergent needs. And so this is why our organization is devoted to serving that community. We know firsthand, many of us have PTSD. And serve our communities, we have to be well equipped cognitively, emotionally, physically.
Sure. Yeah, because I mean, you think about EMS, first responders, law enforcement, and you guys see the worst emergencies. A lot of times law enforcement sees terrible things happen. EMS, they're the first on the scene to see all these horrible things. How prevalent is PTSD among this group? Statistically, how many people in these groups suffer?
So, as far as the statistics are concerned, many don't report it. So
Right.
Our organization tries to stray away from the statistics and work towards more universal education and global understanding that if you're responding to emergent situations repetitively every day, every week, every month, every year, this has an impact on your nervous system. Much like many of your viewers out there are parents. Days of sleepless nights of raising children has an impact on your nervous system. Now, think about the magnitude of responding to an emergency, your choking child, a car accident, something in your life that was impactful that required you to call 911. Multiply that by 7 calls, 10 calls, 15 calls a day.
Sure.
That's not okay for us to just leave our first responders to expect that they're just going to put it aside, go home, and be able to be okay with their families and serve your community the next day without the training and counseling.
I know you mentioned a lot of them just don't even come forward. They just kind of internalize, they keep it inside. I know some departments, when there's an officer involved shooting, they have to go to mandatory counseling. Hopefully they're getting that PTSD help that they need there. Your specific group, you have online, or I'm sorry, it's a national helpline. Tell us more about that and how else you can help these people, how people in this particular group can reach out to you for help.
So we have a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week peer support hotline, whether on duty or off. Any EMS, law enforcement, or first responder can call. We also deliver nationally accredited stress education training. We have a leadership wellness course for all commanders. We have a 2-day frontline officer course, and we also have a family course that's 1 day. And it's really important to educate our family members because the first responder family is a very unique dynamic. And to have the understanding of signs and symptoms and what to look for and how our own behaviors might be triggering our loved ones is extremely important to keep the family intact and in harmony, for sure.
Brandielee, thank you so very much for your time and this important work. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Leslie.
And you are looking at the nonprofit's website where you can go for help and more resources on PTSD. That website does include the helpline at the top of the page.